Hello and welcome to the Law of Money with me, Vivek Law. We put the spotlight on real estate, and joining me is India's best known real estate expert, Anuj Puri, who has recently founded his own venture, ANOROC. Thank you very much, Anuj. It's a pleasure, like always, to talk to you, and thank you for coming on the Money Mile.
Thank you very much for having me, Vivek.
Anuj, one of the big concerns that a lot of people have is that over the last few years, when we went through this slowdown, you saw a lot of even the bigger developers unable to actually deliver on time. What can a consumer do? Because you have various recourses, yet there is so much of confusion. Do I have to go to a consumer court? What is it that I can do if I booked a place? In fact, many builders are now giving that offer that, look, I'll buy it back from you. What should a consumer do in such a situation?
So, Vivek, in the past, it was very difficult for the consumer to be able to get protection under the laws. The laws were cumbersome. Laws would take a lot of time for the implementation to happen. And it was just so difficult for a buyer to be able to take a developer to the court and be able to have the wherewithal to fight a developer, whether monetary or whether legal. As a result of which, the consumer lost confidence in real estate and said, here's a big boy who's delivering it. If the big boy behaves badly, me as a small guy cannot really do anything. But the small guys all got together and said, in their own way, we can't do anything. That became a movement. As a result of which, the buyer just did not come out of the market into the market itself. That's where the developer has got really hurt. On top of it, as you referred, there is a new law that has come in, which is called as Real Estate Regulation Act. And we'll go perhaps a little later in that act. I say is, two things have happened. One, the confidence of the buyer has gone down, as a result of which the developer has understood that he or she needs to behave properly and whatever has been promised to be able to deliver. Second is that the new Real Estate Regulation Act is very onerous on the developer, and I do feel is you're going to see a lot of developers behave. Those who misbehave will either not exist in the long term or will be in jail.
So for those who've already booked, say 5 years ago or 6 years ago, since you said that you see the market turning in 12 to 16 months,
correct,
rather than handing over the flat or the apartment, and I'm talking very specific residential here, back to the builder, do you think it makes sense to, and of course there's no one answer to this because it'll depend from builder to builder or market to market, but I'm saying as a principle, because a lot of people are writing in that they're being told by the developer that, look, if you can't wait anymore, I'll just buy it back from you. And maybe that's happening because there's a hope in the developer that prices are actually going to go up. So do you think in such a situation, you waited 5-6 years, you may as well wait a little longer? Would that be your broader advice?
So Vivek, I would divide it into two parts, A and B. To answer the A part, many developers are saying is that I'm going to buy it back. They're not buying it back because they want to bail out the buyer, or they're not buying it back because they believe that the price is going to go up. They are buying it back because Real Estate Regulation Act, which is a very onerous act, is retrospective.
Okay. So it covers
even the past guys who do not, any project which does not have a completion certificate, the buyers are protected under that act. That's why they are trying to exit the buyers, so that when the buyer will complain to the regulator, they'll go back to the regulator as developers and say, by the way, actually I asked the buyer to exit and the buyer did not exit and I was paying this interest to the buyer. So that's where the A category is. In that category, if the buyer believes that the developer has the wherewithal to do it, is of credibility and has the credentials, they should stay because they are protected under the act. Nobody can take away their protection. So don't be in a hurry to get out. Part B is, Vivek, where their developers, some of the developers have taken more money from the buyer and the balance installment that is left is now insufficient to complete the project. There, the buyer should try and exit because the buyer will complain to the regulator and says, look, Mr. Developer hasn't given me back the regulator will come heavy on the developer, but the developer doesn't have money. And the ability to recover installments from the buyer is insufficient to complete the balance project. There, I would say is that if the developer is offering an exit, you should buy, you should get out, and you should take it. Or if you are able to somehow sell your position to somebody else who has an ability to continue to stay in there, please do that. So differentiate between A and B, and there's a bit of homework to be done. In both cases, you are protected. In one case, you are protected and you will benefit because you know that the developer has the money and hence he'll be able to deliver it. In the other case, you are still protected, but if the developer doesn't have money, what are you going to do? He's going to go to jail, but you are still not getting your apartment. In that case, try and exit if the developer is giving you option to get your money back.
Thank you very much, Anuj, for coming on the Money Mile, and we hope to see you very soon again.
Absolutely. It's a delight, Vivek, doing this after many, many years, and wish you all the very best for Money Mile.
Wish you the same too.
Thank you.